Welcome back to Behind the Fruit. I'm Lucy Robinson, and today's guest is Jorge Reig, former CEO of ZeaFresh. In this episode, we dive into the realities of change, accountability, and why the fresh produce industry evolves far faster than most people realise. Welcome to Behind the Fruit podcast. I'm Lucy Robinson, and today I'm here with Jorge Reig, former CEO of ZeaFresh. He's got experience across finance, operations, and commercial leadership across Europe and North Africa. Jorge is particularly known for his work reorganizing complex produce organizations and building new commercial ventures from the ground up. So Jorge, welcome to Behind the Fruit.
Thank you very much, Lucy, and for your invitation and to share in this activity. It's a pleasure to be here today.
Pleasure to have you on. No, thank you so much. So we'll just start from the beginning, really. Can you tell us a bit about yourself and how you ended up in fresh produce? So a bit about your background.
Well, it's a long history. I started more in the finance world. To be honest, I started working in a couple of big fours, in audit, consulting, and as a finance director in different sectors. That I honestly gave me some different approach to things that probably could be implemented later in the fresh industry. And to be honest, when you are outside the fresh industry, the agriculture, you see like perhaps underdeveloped sector, no? And with not many technology. But afterwards, when you go into the industry, it's absolutely different. It's amazing how much research and development, technology, how the food and the health trends impact in the industry, no? But one of the things, and probably the conclusions that you have very quickly, is probably the ultra processing industries is they sell themselves very well, and the fresh industry is not doing as well, no? So you have that feeling when you are outside the sector. Then I finished in the fresh industry because of the immobiliarian crisis. I was working in the construction sector in 2007. Okay,
Right.
because of that significant crisis. Well, I changed and I moved to GS on that moment, and like a finance director for Spain. Okay, and that was my first contact. And it's true that at the beginning was difficult, no, because there were a finance crisis in Spain, well, in all the world, to be honest, but especially it was quite tough because of the dependency on the construction in Spain and the importance of the real estate. And at the beginning it was crazy because practically all banks stopped practically the activity to finance the companies, and it was difficult at the beginning, to be honest. But yes, I moved because of that crisis to the sector. It was 18 years ago. It was quite a long time ago, to be honest.
Yeah. No, that's interesting. Yeah. So you obviously started your career in other sectors. You mentioned construction, moved into fresh produce, noticed that. I guess did you expect it to be less techy then? So less, less corporate, maybe less tech available, and actually were quite pleasantly surprised when you entered that there was more than you initially expected. Is that right?
Yes, well, to be honest, I didn't know. I didn't expect. But on the other hand, probably I'm very project person. No, I like the projects. It's true that this sector is very dynamic. It's very changeable, and it has been for me, and I believe that in general for most of the people. No, so yeah, it has been longer than probably I expected at the beginning. That's the truth.
Yeah. And a lot of people I've met, it's quite common for people to move from other industries such as construction or others, move into produce and almost get the passion for it and really sort of want to stay within the industry. Have you experienced that? Is it does it really bring you in more so than other industries?
Sometimes in some critical moments you say, wow, perhaps it will have be easier in other sector, no? But on the other hand, it's true that there is like a little drag, no, that maintains that life, no, that you say, okay, no, I want to be here, and always there are, new projects. That is the good thing that probably this sector has.
Interesting. Yeah. No, I do hear that a lot. And I think most people do. A lot of people experience that. I think once you're in, often people just, they want to stay for that reason. But really looking back at your career, um, was there any specific moment or any decision that first put you on the path to where you are today?
Probably the biggest change was when I had to lead inorganic growth, where
Mm.
we purchased a company, and then I changed my role to managing director, from finance director to managing director. Probably that really changed my career, at that point. Yeah,
Yeah. And
probably it was.
why specifically, why did that change your career? Obviously, you went from finance and then stepped into managing the entire business. But what was it about that really sort of shaped your career path?
Well, obviously, you had a full responsibility in all the different business areas. Also, it's true that as a finance, I lead finance, IT, in some cases operations. But it's true that when you get the role of of managing director, absolutely change. And probably you already involved in one area that is true that from finance you are not as involved. No, that is the commercial side of the business. So probably and I discovered I like a lot is that is that's the truth. And probably the last 10 years of my life I have been more involved in the on the commercial side, no, than that in other parts of the business. And yes, it's a full, let's say, the full picture, okay, what you have to manage. And then even you have the opportunity in many cases, to change things, no, and to take the decisions that can modify or transform operations and other parts of the business, no. That is for probably was the most significant moment. Obviously, there has been afterwards other challenges and things that have been difficult, no. But yeah, probably that was the moment.
And just for others that may be listening that might be on a similar journey, so maybe they are a CFO or in a financial position and they want to step into a managing director or CEO role, what specific skills would you say are critical to learn to step from managing purely finance into MD or CEO roles? What was your experience?
Okay, well, many. Many. Well, the first thing is, I think, is resilience,
Hmm.
because at the end you are the top of the organization, and somehow you require to be resilient to the different situations. Okay. The second one probably, and the most important has to do with people. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
People is absolutely key, no? So I would say you need to build a team around you as absolutely important, okay? And then what probably you have to learn is how you manage the team. How do you motivate? How do you choose those people? And here is important one thing, not always easy, no? But it's is if you see you are like a orchestra director somehow.
Right.
That
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
that is quite important, no? And not always, all the people that are playing the different instruments have to be the same, because you need many times different profiles, and you can have profiles that are more similar to you than others. So you have to learn how you manage that orchestra. Okay, so
Mhm.
that is probably one of the things that you really have to learn, and you have to separate, okay, from the day to day, to leave the people, okay, and well, and to learn that they have to take their own decisions. You have to really delegate to them, And all that is not always easy because it's true. It's at the end to build high performance teams. That is what we are talking about. Okay. And that is the most difficult. In fact, I recognize when I have been more successful and I have lived better, always I have been before able to build that team. Okay. And when the team was so, success has been so. Okay. It's absolutely linked one thing with the other. And that is the most difficult, because it's not only that you have to build a team according what you are or how do you think. You have to many times to understand what is the environment around the different stakeholders, okay, and how you are going to manage that. Okay, so you have to be very flexible in order to understand where you are, where your organization is operating. Obviously, is in the sector, but it's not always the same. Okay, and then on the other hand, to try to really motivate them. That is the point.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. So it's really obviously about getting the right people, but then obviously having the right skills as well to motivate and develop those individuals. And going back to a big question that we always come up against when we're speaking to clients when it comes to hiring. So, I mean, have you had much success in bringing people for any specific functions or roles outside of the produce industry like yourself? Or do you find that typically people with experience in produce tend to work the best?
Okay. This is difficult. Normally, you find a lot of people from the industry. Okay, that is, I would say, that is the normal, and it's positive on one side. Okay, but it's true that everything is changing, no? But probably until now, there are people with that are people made themselves, okay, with no, in many cases, training. They are very smart people. They are people that have learned internally, which is good, okay. But sometimes those people are a little reluctant, to change or to learn new things, okay, because they have been involved for many years doing things in one way. And it's true that the industry works in one way. But I think that is very, very important to start ready to learn new things, okay? Because probably when you are in the industry, day to day is like, it's like five very urgent things are like they are, no? But I disagree a little bit. When you look in the mid and long term, many things have changed. So it's true that many times we don't see that day to day because, in our industry, we are moving with practically daily prices, offer and demand that is from today in today. Okay. But when you see mid and long term, you have consumer trends, you have product categories that are changing massively. And not only that, they are changing in those categories and how those products are important in the health of the consumer and things like that. Different geographical origins of the product. So if you say, okay, what has happened in the last 10 years? The change is massive.
Yes.
Absolutely massive. And the evolution even in those products is absolutely massive. So when you say, no, the sector is the same and never change. No, sorry. It's true. There are things that stay like always. But see the long term. And you will see. I give an example, okay, in order we understand. For instance, if you think in the category of berries and grapes, for instance, the growth is amazing. Amazing. We have moved from I would say, a seasonal and local production practically, okay, and overall worldwide demand, okay, with new places and so on. And on top of that, it has been developed with varieties that have resistance, that have better cell life. So it's a very technological development of that category. Okay.
Mhm, mhm.
At the end, you say, okay, why it has happened? It has happened because consumer is asking that. And why consumer is asking that? It's asking because it is healthy. It's a
Mhm.
really healthy product. It's good for increase our personal cell life. It has antioxidants. It's so consumer is impacting many times because no, it's the retailers or the wholesale. No, 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 no. There are consumer at the end of our supply chain, and they are choosing what they want to purchase. So if you think on that, if you think in the fourth and fifth range of products, so there are many things that are changing the market.
Yeah.
So it's true.
Yeah.
We have demand and we have offer, we have daily prices. Yeah, like 20 years ago. Yeah, but there are details that are changing.
So, when it comes to hiring as well, let's talk more about that. But are there any specific challenges or learnings that you've had at any point in your career, something that you've really learnt along the way that's helped to shape, again, your career journey?
Obviously, yes. You mean situations or some moments? Well,
Yeah.
yes. As I said before, probably in the industry there are like two moments at the beginning when I joined to the sector, because the finance crisis was quite tough on that moment. And I have one feeling, one theory. This
Mhm.
is personal, and other people perhaps says, is that our sector advanced the global crisis. I mean, normally companies are not performing very well, and in a couple of years there is a global crisis, and then during the crisis our companies perform better because
Mhm.
normally, at the end we are food, people need to eat, and they can perhaps delay to purchase a new car, but they need to eat. So normally during the crisis we perform better, okay?
Mhm.
But I don't know why, but normally in the last crisis, companies' performance is worse, like 1 or 2 years before, no? So
Right.
I lived that situation, and it was complex with the financing and so on, and with the banks. Okay, I would say that even the banks evolve, at least here in Spain, in order how to support the sector, no? And it's true that the banks were very focused in the immobiliary and the construction, okay? And then afterwards, they understood that the agriculture and the fresh industry in Spain was very important, and they turned to the sector and adapt the products. But obviously, it was not done in one day. It took perhaps 5 years.
Right.
And during that moment, the turnaround plans, the financing plans were quite difficult. Okay.
Mhm. Mhm.
And the other thing that was complex from my point of view is, you know, when I was in Agroponiente in Almería,
Yeah.
okay, Almería is like, I will say, in the sector, it's like well, it's not an exception, but it has a quite particular conditions in the sector, because, you have like well, 18,000 small growers,
Yeah.
okay, with very small surfaces. They are working or in cooperative or in auctions, okay? And it's true that the model is created in order to get the supply for the companies, okay? And well, it has been working for many years, but obviously it's generating quite pressure on the supply costs for the commercial companies, okay?
Mhm.
Because if you are trying to pay a very good price to the grower, okay, then it's difficult at the end to do that balance between the selling and the procurement prices. And then on top of that, remember when I was that it was quite funny because we have the coronavirus, and
Of
that
course.
was like a permanent crisis for
Yeah.
it was crazy from a commercial side. We have countries that stopped the supply 48 hours. Afterwards, they wanted three times what was normal. It
Wow.
was like it was
Crazy.
quite
Mm.
uncertainty period of time. No, it was not at the end not bad, but it created a lot of uncertainty during all the period. And the other thing was the Ukrainian war. That
Mm.
in reality, the Ukrainian war was not like a war so significant, but it had a huge impact on the energy costs.
Of course it
Okay.
did. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And obviously, I think that everybody or knows or is aware what happened in Holland. Practically, Holland
Mm.
stopped in a very big percentage their own production,
Yeah.
and obviously, it gave big window and opportunity for Almeria, Morocco, or other locations of production. No, because it's true that the Dutch model, no, with that technology, energy, was competing a lot with the other areas, no,
Mm.
and
Mm.
it has changed again. It looks like in the last year we have come back to the model because obviously the energy impact and the Holland is already pushing tough. Okay, again, and obviously that is impacted in the competitiveness of Almeria, in the competitiveness of Morocco, no? And then we have the typical environmental discussion, no? Is
Mm-hmm.
the model of Holland with that use of the energy most efficient and environmental, or on the other hand, we have a more natural production model like is in Spain or in Morocco, but
Mm-hmm.
it's true on the other hand that you have the transport costs, no? So it's that
Right.
that
Yeah.
balance that is always difficult, no? And how the consumer perceives that question, that is what it. So yeah,
Yeah.
I lived that situation, and it was complex. It was difficult. To be honest.
Yeah, yeah, it sounds very complex, and I'm sure you've had lots of yeah, complex situations that you've had to deal with. I know from our previous conversation as well, you were talking about so you have led a major reorganization at a produce company. You also built
Yeah.
a new venture from scratch. And it seems like you are more drawn to that type of, strategic, maybe transformational work. Is that right? Would you say that you're drawn to something like that rather than sticking to something that's maybe just, ticking along, more established? Are you keen to go into work that is more
Yeah.
transformational? Yeah.
I consider, well, as I told you before, I consider myself like a project person, no? And it
Mm.
has more to do with that situations of turnaround, transformation, implement, to develop a new company or to develop a new area of business, no?
Hmm.
Uh, I feel more confident, no? Uh, is my personality.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
is what it is, no? So it is what I really like. It's true that in many cases um, I have had to reorganize companies, no, to create a new management team or to do new areas or division. Okay, and I could say from a people that is your business and where you are more involved, no. Uh, that sometimes is complex because
Mm.
I would say that people in general, at the beginning, are blockers. No, people
Mm.
don't like the change or don't like the uncertainty. Okay,
Mhm.
if you create a new area, it's okay, no problem. But
Yeah.
if you are impacting or moving on how things are going to be done in the area that somebody is managing for a lot of time, that is difficult.
And just going back to what you said, because it was interesting. So we talk a lot to both candidates and clients about, I think, managing teams or people through change just comes up a lot. That seems to be a big topic of conversation. And I think from our conversations, there definitely doesn't seem to be one way to do that. Everyone's got different ideas of, you know, the best, I guess, methods or tips maybe to manage teams and people through change. But is there anything you've learned along the way that you think is maybe your go-to, or any, again, advice you could give when it comes to managing people that maybe are resistant to change? Like you said, like they don't always want to change. Many times they don't. But yeah, is there anything you've found that works quite well in those situations?
Yes, well, you cannot always be successful, no?
Mm,
It depends, because there is one thing when you hire people, you are on the business. I think that there are like basic values that are very important. For instance, the attitude of the people, the positive or positiveness of people, no? Uh, why? Because with with that is easier to involve them in the projects,
mhm,
okay, in order to do things, no, and and flexibility of people too. So people that are ready to accept the challenge, okay, and obviously you have to involve in many ways, no, but that they are ready to accept the responsibility. Okay,
mhm.
I like people that are ready to say, okay, I'm responsible, no problem at all. Normally, because there are people that they don't like many times to get responsibilities because there are organizations that are always like looking guilty, no, when somebody is not working properly. To be honest, I don't like that. I think
Mm.
that what is important is to look, okay, for solutions. Okay, it's more important. Okay, what we are going to do, because always things can happen, no. But what is more important is what is the solution. No? So I think that if you support the people and people feel confident, okay, it's like the theory, no? You allow to grow the people, okay, and people grow because they feel supported.
Yeah, so it's about giving the right support. And like you say, you can't win every time. Some people just don't always want to change. But I suppose it's knowing that, isn't it? That I guess some people you can bring on along with you, and some, yeah, you're not going to always win with. But also just going back to we talked about so you managed a startup operation. You were saying how you managed to develop that from 0 to 10 million euros in just 18 months.
Yeah.
Was there anything specific that was key to achieving that growth in that
Well,
amount of time?
well, it's not as important. I think that is important. Uh, the trust, I will say that customers and suppliers and they recognize professionalism, okay, and that you are able to maintain the service, the quality, and all these type of things. Okay, I don't think is as difficult. On the other hand, the most difficult is the product supply, similar what I said before, no? Because when you have your own production, to have your own production is complex. It's not
Right.
easy, okay?
Agreed.
And on the other hand, in this sector is amazing. The capex that you need in order to produce is amazing,
Right.
especially in greenhouses. In open fields perhaps is less, no, but in greenhouses.
Mm.
So having all those is not as difficult, to be honest. And that is what it is, no?
Mhm.
But yeah, the supply thing is, from my point of view, the most difficult. And don't forget that at the end, customers, okay,
Yeah.
they want at least season, or if it's possible, 12 months
Mm.
supply,
Mm.
okay, and it doesn't matter from different locations or whatever. So it's true that in that case, although we were small, we had Spain, but we had Morocco too. So in order
Right.
to try to diversify risks too.
Yeah,
Okay.
diversify risks. Yeah, no, big points, definitely. And just going back again, we've talked a little bit about hiring people and the types of maybe skills that you look for. Um, but are there any skills in particular that you tend to look for when building or hiring teams? So whether it more behaviors or is it specific experience or skills, or is there no rule that you can that you can say?
There is one, okay,
Okay.
that it is quite interesting because you have a word in English that we don't have in Spanish,
Okay.
or at least not with the same meaning. Okay,
Mm.
yes, accountability. Okay,
Wow.
is I mean you have and it's difficult, and especially in our sector, it's difficult. In fact, I have talked with some universities about this. Okay, and it's to find that profile of technician, okay, that is able to manage the P&L of its own production, okay?
Mm.
Because many times you tend to have technical people that know a lot about the different things, the production, the products, the weather. They know a lot about this, but they are not able to manage the profit and loss of that production, okay? And that means there are people, obviously, that there are people that, but many times happen with the engineers that the agronomists don't like to take that profit and loss properly, no? And that is one of the lacks many times in the sector. I have talked sometimes with a couple of universities, that we were hiring people from there
Mhm.
and say, why don't you try to have some subject in order to help them and so on. But because it's true that in many cases too, agronomists work for for seed houses, for agrochemical companies, things like that, and their work is more comfortable. No, it's more
Mm.
like I'm an advisor. I tell what you have to do, but well, I'm not taking the responsibility. And then you say, okay, then who is the responsible? Somebody that was there in the farm, but don't have any technical knowledge, and so I miss that profile in our sector. Okay,
Mm.
I think it's something has to evolve. Obviously, there are exceptions, but obviously the sector needs a lot of people with this profile. No, that
Yeah,
will
with
be
accountability.
the perfect.
Have you found that, I mean, accountability, that it's something that's maybe quite hard to develop, I imagine, in people. It's a skill that needs developing, but I can't imagine it's a one that's easy. You obviously talk to universities about that, but yeah, have you found that something that you are able to develop in your teams?
Yeah, well, it depends on
Okay.
the people personality.
Yeah.
Okay, if the people has the right, because I believe it's true at the end, and the human resources, this is like the iceberg, no?
Yeah. Yeah.
We see the titles, we see the training, we see that, but at the end, 70% has to do how is the person, how, because at the end, people can learn absolutely, and people grow, people develop themselves, okay, and people adapt. But that is on the personal characteristics of the people that are the most difficult to see.
Mhm.
So yes,
Yeah.
it depends. It
Yeah.
depends.
And it's difficult to hire for that skill set as well, isn't it? I mean, to assess somebody on their level of accountability in interview is tough. I mean, yeah, they can talk a good game, but they can say that they do that, but do they actually do it? Do they actually practice it day to day? I don't know. Yeah, what do you think?
Yes. No, and I would say it's a problem. Many times when you say somebody, okay, you are going to grow, you are going to be responsible of this, and there are people that they don't want.
Mm.
Okay, and that it is a problem. Imagine how you manage that, and it's not a question of okay, and we compensate with this or no. There are people that directly doesn't that they don't want responsibilities, and it's true that our sector in that day to day sometimes can be tough, no, because we work with leaf products
Yeah.
and with a sell life very short, and then many times you have to take decisions every day, no? But it's not a question. We are not an industrial companies where we just stock and okay, we will take a decision in 1 week time. No, our sector is like fine, no? And so many people, they want to not to have that type of responsibility.
Yeah. And does your approach to hiring, does it change at all depending on maybe the size or the stage of the business or the market that you're in? Or do you have the same approach to hiring across the board?
Well, obviously, it depends, no? It depends. I would say the first thing, obviously, is the geographical, no, location,
Mm.
and that is important.
Mhm.
And well, there are many people not ready to move. I mean, or to work in different countries or whatever. There are, okay. And the other thing, it has to do too with the type of company, and even I will say with the type of shareholders. Okay, it's not the same family business.
Mhm.
Okay, that investment fund company, or the profile that you need is different. No, has it, on the way that things like the reporting, or really to work with much more data or finance information, all that type of things, no? So it makes that the profiles can be different, no?
Yeah.
So yes, it depends a lot. It
Yeah, it
depends a lot.
has to be case by case, I think, doesn't it? Depending on, yeah, many factors. But
Yes.
yeah, it can be definitely complex depending on the role and location. At times, I'm sure you have many. You've done many complex hires in your time as well. But I suppose what would you like to be remembered for in this industry? Is there anything you want to put out there and say, look, this is what I want to be remembered for?
Wow. To be well, I believe is difficult.
Yeah.
That is very very difficult that you remember. I would say that I would like people that has really worked with me, that just perhaps they might mean like, like a professional, honest, that can be trustable person, no?
Mhm, mhm.
And probably that's it. No, if you really think in the sector and you say, okay, tell me somebody 50 years ago, it's difficult.
Yeah, it's difficult.
I recognize that people. Sorry, but the people remember those that have been working with them, no? And I think that what is important is probably those people that have been working with you, okay,
Mhm.
that they remember you like what I say, a professional, honest people can trust on your person. I think that is important.
Yeah, yeah, perfect. Okay. And before we wrap up, I do have one final question for you. So, if you were mentoring the next generation of maybe leaders or executives in fresh produce, what's
Yeah.
one piece of advice you'd want them to remember?
Well, you mean people that has to join in the future to the sector?
Yeah, that are maybe they're in leadership roles now, but they're stepping into the first CEO role, or I don't know, somebody who's the next generation of leaders. Yeah.
Well, I think that they have to be dynamic,
Hmm.
brave, okay, and try to see always to the market. That is what I think that the answer to the future is in the market, in the consumers, and try to anticipate, okay, what is going to happen. It's true that it can happen too, that you can anticipate too much,
Mm.
okay, and it can be a risk. We have seen companies that have anticipated 5 years what the market was going to happen, so they had problems, and afterwards they had a fantastic view, no? So I have seen sometimes that happens, but I believe that there is the question, no? And I believe that the sector is fantastic because it's a healthy sector. We work with health food. Also, there is one question, for instance, that I believe that in the future we will have, no, is actually our products are health, no, but it's true that the question is for Lucy Health, does the product have the same amino acids, antioxidants, everything that your body needs, or does that product has those same or those I don't know how to say attributes or characteristic that the same fruit had 1 century ago?
Right.
Okay, because if you see, it's incredible how now many people is having complements of vitamins and many things. Okay, so the point is, can we with a natural food to do that in a natural in a natural way, or because of the use of the land? Because it's true that at the end, all the products that we are treating are, fighting against disease, many things of the products. But it's true that the land is grow 2-3 times a year, is a lot. So it's true that we have organic production, but the organic production I don't have very clear that is really solving this point that I'm putting on the table. So it's a question that should we start, or the seed houses or whatever, start thinking in, okay, this product has enough vitamin A like it used to have 1 or 2 centuries ago, because perhaps now it has less. I'm talking about vitamin A, and I don't know if it's the good example, but I want to say the idea, no? It's good enough, it's healthy. Obviously, is much better than ultra processed product. Absolutely, no way, nothing to discuss about that.
Yeah.
But the point is, how can we evolve that? Because I have the feeling that is probably the next step in the next years of the consumers. Okay, because if not, at the end, are we going to have in pills all the good vitamins and things, or can we do with a natural food? So
Yes.
this is
Yeah.
one thing for the future. Okay, and for those people that are going to start working is something that they will have to start thinking about. If you have the view of the consumers.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. So it's a big question, isn't it? And a big topic, and one that I'm sure, we could talk about for a long time. So
Yeah.
yeah. But thank you. Yeah. Thank you so much. So that's it for this episode of Behind the Fruit. So Jorge, thank you so much for letting us hear your story. If anyone wants to connect with you, for example, on LinkedIn or something, is that the best place for them to?
No, yeah,
Yeah.
I think LinkedIn is probably the best. It's easy to find me. I think it's better. It's better.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, amazing. All right. Okay, thank you so much. And take care.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Thanks for listening to Behind the Fruit, a podcast by LCR International. We are global experts in fresh produce executive search. Hit subscribe if you enjoyed this episode, and for more industry insights, connect with us on LinkedIn.